What's up, everybody? Welcome into the show. Yet another episode of Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockridge, your host of the show. All right, guys, today I have a list of running backs for you. Now, these guys are league winners, right? Based on where they're going in the draft. I mean, a lot of these guys are going in like the middle rounds. Some are even slipping to the later rounds. I'm mind blown at these guys' ADP. And for the sake of today's video, I am not going to include Ramondre Stevenson or Derrick Henry, although I think those are league-winning running backs as well, because I just talked about them in my video last night. So if you want my opinion on those two backs, you can check out my video from yesterday. But as far as today is concerned, I've got 5 more league-winning running backs for you. These guys are going to smash their ADP and win leagues. So I'm going to start right here with the first player on my list, and that's Kenneth Walker. Now, this is a guy who, in the open field is probably the most lethal running back in the entire NFL. You get him out in space, and he's absolutely untackleable. This dude is great at shaking off defenders because of his elusiveness, his world-class speed, his vision, everything like that. When this dude gets in the open field, he's very dangerous. If the Seahawks offense can manage to be even average this year, this dude's going to explode. He should still see 70 to 75% of the work in the backfield. He had an even larger workload. He was more like 80% of the work in the backfield last year. I see that going down a little bit. I think Charbonnet will get a little bit more work this season, especially in the pass-catching game. But Kenneth Walker got a decent amount of targets out of the backfield last year as well. This dude can catch passes and be lethal with the ball in his hands after the catch. We know that this dude has all the talent in the world. I think he's going to absolutely smash. Again, if the Seahawks offense can manage to even be decent, which I think they will because they've still got a very good wide receiver core, Kenneth Walker is going to explode. Next player on my list is going to be Aaron Jones. Now, this is a guy who he's the only other running back besides Nick Chubb to have 5+ yards per carry on a 1,000+ carry sample size in the league. Take every running back in the league. There's only 2 running backs that average more than 5 yards a carry on a 1,000+ carry sample size. That is Nick Chubb and Aaron Jones. This dude's wildly efficient. He's going to be in a new offense. The biggest thing with Aaron Jones is whether or not he can stay healthy. But again, it's very hard to predict injuries. As long as he goes into the season healthy, I'm very confident in what he's going to do. Think about this. We've got Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison on the outside. This is going to stretch the field. It's going to open up those dump-off opportunities for Aaron Jones out of the backfield. This dude is going to be an absolute fantasy monster this season as long as he can stay on the field. He's going to catch a lot of passes. He's going to run very, very efficiently like he always does. If this offense manages to be an above-average offense, watch out for Aaron Jones because then he has touchdown upside as well. This dude's going to explode. Next player on my list is going to be James Conner. Now, James Conner is a guy who he's really been good his whole fantasy career. He's getting a little bit older. They drafted Trey Benson, so, what's this offense going to be like as far as the split for the running backs? All reports are that James Conner is still going to be the starter. And as long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to get the majority of the workload. We don't really see running backs come in and get that big of a workload their rookie season nowadays. It typically takes them some time to get integrated into the offense. I don't see any reason why James Conner shouldn't be getting 75 to even possibly 80% of the work in the backfield to start things off. And as long as he stays healthy, it could be a scenario where he continues to see that big of a workload and that big of a percentage of the work in the offense all the way throughout the season. And this Cardinals offense should be tremendously improved with Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, we've got an elite pass-catching tight end in Trey McBride. We've got a healthy Kyler Murray, who is a great passer, a great runner, a great quarterback altogether. And then they drafted the best wide receiver in the draft of Marvin Harrison Jr. There's no reason why this offense shouldn't bounce back tremendously. I think this offense has awesome upside. I think that everyone is sleeping on this offense more so than almost any offense in the NFL. James Conner is going to be a benefactor of this. He's going to get in the end zone like crazy. We know that he sees more work in the passing game now than he really ever has in his career, so he's got pass-catching upside. This dude's going to freaking explode. Going off in the middle rounds, the value is unbelievable for James Conner. Next player on my list is going to be Isaiah Pacheco. Now, this is a guy who plays in what could bounce back to being one of the top 3 offenses in the NFL this year. I mean, they are led by the best quarterback in the game in Pat Mahomes. In the Pat Mahomes era, this is really the only running back that's been used as a workhorse. It's been split up as far as the carries and the workload. The early part of Mahomes' career, this was the first time in Mahomes' career where the Chiefs have an actual workhorse running back. This dude runs harder than anyone I've ever seen. Everybody loves watching Isaiah Pacheco. He is a back that has proven to also be a very good pass-catching back. These last 2 seasons, we've seen his pass-catching work progressively go up and get better throughout the season. So he's going to catch a lot of passes as well. This dude has the dual threat ability. He's an insanely efficient runner, and the touchdown upside is through the roof. If this dude scored 13, 14 touchdowns this year, I wouldn't be all that surprised. And they do throw him the ball in the red zone as well, so he can catch some passes for touchdowns as well. I love Isaiah Pacheco. Next and final player on my list is going to be Nick Chubb. Now, this is going to be one of the most really polarizing players in all of fantasy football this year, because where he's going in the draft, given the upside, he has the potential to be the biggest steal in the draft by a wide margin. By a wide margin. I mean, this dude could literally be a top 5 running back, and he's going in like round 10 or 11, right? Like, how often do you have a player with that kind of ceiling going so late? I'll tell you, the only time that happens is when the player is coming off a major injury. That's it. That is the only time that happens. Now, obviously, Nick Chubb obliterated his knee. It wasn't a typical ACL tear. I mean, it was one of the more difficult ACL tears I've ever seen. That's why they wouldn't even show it on TV. The dude got annihilated. With that being said, it's already said that he's pretty much resumed running again. I mean, we are a long way away from the season, and it's looking like he's going to be 100% to start the year. And they might ease him into things. You know, it might be one of those things where, yes, he's active for week 1, but he doesn't really get his full Nick Chubb workload. But as the season progresses, as we see him get stronger and stronger, this dude is going to handle the brunt of the carries in the offense. Okay? It's Nick freaking Chubb. All right? He's the most efficient running back in pretty much the past 5 to 7 years of fantasy football. I mean, well, I guess he hasn't, the last 5 or 6, right? So, you know, this is a guy who is a tremendously efficient back, right? He is a little bit older now, but he's not quite 30. I'm not really going to write him off just because he's going into his age 29 season. This dude still has a little bit of tread on the tires, I think. I think we can see one more good season for Nick Chubb. Is there a risk? Yes. Obviously, because he's coming back from an injury, there's a risk. But considering the fact that you're getting him in round 10 or 11, this dude has massive league-winning upside based on the ceiling that he has. He's in an offense that could be a very, very good offense. This dude has the upside to score 15 to 17 touchdowns this year. He could run extremely efficiently like he has his entire NFL career, especially considering the fact that he has a mobile quarterback in Deshaun Watson. That always helps rushing upside for running backs as far as yards per carry efficiency. Look for Nick Chubb to have a huge season. I really think that he's going to bounce back and be just fine. And if he's not himself because of the ACL injury, it's no big deal because you're getting this guy in like round 10 or 11. So definitely smash the Nick Chubb button. He's worth the slight gamble because you're getting him late, and he has the upside to be a top 5 running back. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Catch you later.